An adopted girl who was in search of her biological family ends up discovering the impossible. But before we start, please give the video a like and make sure to subscribe to Wonderbot and hit the bell so you'll never miss any uploads from us. A home doesn't need bricks and concrete to be made. All it needs is love and family. Similarly, a family is not bonded by genes but is formed by love. For any child who's adopted, life is never that easy. Though his or her new family nurtures them with all their love, the space that belongs to his or her biological family always remains empty in their heart. When an adopted child brushes her teeth with the reality of being adopted, the foremost question that comes to her is, who are my biological parents? Where's my family? This is a chapter from Hillary Harris's life, who was an adopted daughter. She searched for her biological family for years when she came across the unexpected. Hillary Harris was barely a year old when her father left her at the orphanage as he moved in with another woman. Luckily, another family adopted her as their child and gave her all the happiness she deserved in life. Hillary gave her new childless parents a reason to look up to the next day in life. Hillary's childhood was nothing but ordinary, like it is for any other child. Her innocence was a result of her adopted parents' love and care. She was a girl full of vitality and vigor. She enjoyed visiting the children's park and frolicking around. Life was a happy one until the day she had to face the reality. As years passed by, Hillary grew from an infant to a toddler to a preschooler and finally a teenager. Though she was making the most out of her growing years, as she grew older, her parents had a rising concern, a concern which gave them sleepless nights. The parents had an obvious reason to suffer insomnia. They couldn't decide whether they should break the news of Hillary being an adopted child of theirs or not. They didn't wish to hide it from her, but how would they tell their daughter, who they reared with so much affection and nourishment, that they aren't her biological parents? Hillary's adopted set of parents gathered all their courage and after thinking for days finally broke the news to Hillary. They told her that she wasn't their biological daughter but is an adopted one. Hillary was a teen then and could understand the dynamics of the situation. Hillary was extremely thankful to her parents. She owes them the life she's living today and all the luxuries the couple provided to their adopted daughter. However, as she matured into a woman, she started questioning her past, and some deepest hidden lying secrets from her past began to unfold. Time heals all wounds, and it did the same to Hillary Harris, only for a short while. She accepted the fact that she's an adopted child and moved on in life. She got married to Lance Harris and started living in Wisconsin. She even gave birth to a cute little daughter. But now that she was a matured woman, she knew that it was time to look for things she'd dumped deep in her heart in her teenage years. Harris and her husband were busy with their daily chores and stuff. Their daughter was admitted to the preschool. Though Harris was satisfied with her living, she now wanted to know about her biological family. She started her search from an old box that she got from her parents' place. Harris was confident that she'll definitely find something in that box. And as she started looking into stuff in it, she grew nostalgic. A lot of things in that box reminded her of her adopted parents. Some toys, old photographs, her favorite frocks which she used to wear as a child. And then she comes across the file she's been looking for. The file that she found was an adoption file that her new parents were handed over when they adopted Hillary. She finds her adoption papers in it. She was hopeful that this file would summarize the details about her family, but to her surprise, the file did not furnish all the details, or maybe some papers were missing. Yet, she was able to find something that might prove helpful to her. Though the file did not provide much information to Hillary, it furnished certain names. The father's name read Wayne Klaus. Not only this, but she also got to know that she had a half-sister from her father named Dawn Johnson. The papers also had the orphanage name from where Wayne adopted Hillary. Would she be able to locate her family after all these years, or was the unexpected written in her fate? Hillary visited the same orphanage again. She couldn't recall that she once lived there. And how would she? She was only a year old when she lived there. Just when she thought that the door to the orphanage would lead to her family, the doors to her hope closed. The orphanage was abandoned, and there were no whereabouts of the children that once were sheltered there. Was it the end or a beginning to the unanswered? Harris continued her search. She was determined to find her family. She asked the people living near the orphanage if they could fetch her any contact number of anyone who was linked with the orphanage's authority and staff. Unfortunately, none knew about anyone. Just then, she thought, why not search the names over the web? Surely she wasn't prepared for what was about to come. Harris instantly took to Facebook to help. She, in the names column, types Dawn Johnson, and there it was. There were some thousands of Dawn Johnsons that these search results fetched. But which was her sister? No one knew. It wasn't as easy as Hillary thought it would be. Since she'd never met her before, there wasn't any possibility that she could make some possible guesses about her. And then something strange happens. Every night, Hillary would search over the web for her sister, and she'd go through every single profile. But she couldn't relate to any of the matching profiles. She was now giving over her hopes of reuniting with her family. When the chances of her finding her sister grew thinner, someone enters Harris's life. Who were they? Harris was now sure, for some unknown reason, that she won't be able to meet her biological family ever in her life. One fine day, she was strolling in the lawns of her house when she saw that a new couple moved in next door. Though they weren't anything special about the new neighbors, yet Harris decided to show some politeness. When the new neighbors were settling into their house, they could often be seen loading and unloading their belongings from the Pack and Movers transportation facility. Usually, Harris would bypass them, but as they shared the same driveway, one day she interacts with them. Harris greeted the lady with a hello. What came as a reply shocked Harris to her wits. Hillary Harris, in a polite manner, said, "Hello, I'm Hillary. I'm your next door neighbor. I guess you're new here." The woman replied, saying yes, they were new to the city. They moved here just 2 nights back. She introduced herself as Dawn. Hillary just backs off the very moment and couldn't believe what the woman just addressed herself as. Harris couldn't trust her ears. She'd been searching for her sister for years, and when she just gave up on finding her, a woman who moved in next door introduces herself as Dawn. Hillary rushes to her house and dictates the entire incident to her husband. Was this a mere coincidence, or was it fate playing its role? Even Lance, for a second, was taken aback when he heard his wife. Hillary recalls that the lady mentioned that she was from Greenwood, and it's the same place from which someone highlighted in the adoption paper she had. Were there some possibilities that she was the woman that Hillary had been looking for? After evaluating all the pros and cons of the possibilities of their new neighbor to be their family neighbor, Hillary and Lance shared a big laugh. How was this even possible that someone they'd been looking for this badly ends up lying next to them? Harris, in an interview, says, "He was like, no," and I was like, "No," and we both said that would be funny if she was my sister. Haha. Though initially Harris gave over the thought that the new family living adjacent to them could be their family members in a laughing manner, somewhere she even had this that maybe there's a rare chance it could be her. After their first interaction, the duo never exchanged words, and Hillary was getting desperate to know the lady's surname. Harris was getting impatient. She'd see the lady next door watering her plants through the window pane and would say to herself, "Is she my long-lost sister?" She could never gather the courage to directly go ask her about her last name. What happened next was no less than a surprise as well as a shock. Harris always wanted to ask the woman, but she never actually did so. She thought that her neighbor would accuse her of intruding into her privacy. It was August, and on Sunday morning, Hillary comes across a stack of shingles parceled and kept away in the driveway. When she saw the name on it, she was blown away. It was some 8 months that the neighbors had first interacted. Dawn and her husband Kurt wanted to fix their roof and prepare for approaching winters when they ordered the stack of shingles. It was for them. Harris was baffled when she read the name on the parcel. It read, Johnson. Harris was perplexed when she realized that the lady next door had her surname as Johnson. It meant she was Dawn Johnson. Hillary called her husband right then and screams, "It's got to be her! It's got to be!" Lance didn't want to shatter his excited wife's hopes again and asked Harris to go and ask about the same to Dawn herself. Would Harris do it? Harris was scared. She didn't want to hear that the woman they're mistaking for her sister was not her, but some other Dawn Johnson. Her fear of being rejected stopped her every time she thought to inquire to the lady. But then, Harris made up her mind to reach out to the woman. Somehow, when Harris reached the doorstep of Dawn's place, she, out of anxiousness, asks her husband if what is this lady doesn't know about her. What if it had been kept a secret that she has a half-sister as well? Lance knew that Harris won't be able to do it alone, and thus the duo knocks together on Dawn's door. Once the couple knocked on the neighbor's door, Dawn received them. Well, Lance initiated a conversation and talked about random stuff, whereas instead of asking the much-awaited question, Hillary kept staring at the woman's curly hair. Harris even stares at her hands constantly. Harris did not utter a single word at Dawn's place. Eventually, after the random conversation, the families bid adieu to each other. Dawn did not like Harris's reactions and was suspicious about the way she stared at her. The same day, Dawn left for a family vacation when she gets a strange message. Harris's entire day was thinking about the awkward meeting she had with Dawn. She constantly looked at herself in the mirror and said, "She resembles me. Even I had curly hair once, and our hands look alike." She then decides to text Dawn and ask the most awaited. Harris highlights a question to Dawn via text message, which she got to know about through the adoption file. She texts Dawn, "Were you the loyal Cornfest queen in 1983? Dawn had a puzzling reaction. Dawn was totally perplexed. This information was very personal about her, and she didn't expect her neighbor to ask her this. Dawn replies asking, "Hey, wait, why are you asking that?" Though she was the fest queen. Hillary just shoots another question without waiting for a second. She asks, "Dawn, who's your birth father?" The answer was exactly what Harris wanted to hear. Dawn tells Harris that her father was Wayne Klaus. Unfortunately, he died in the year 2010. Harris and Lance were getting crazy hearing the answers. After the conversation, the neighbors realized that they were sisters. Dawn never knew that her father had other children as well. She met him only when she was 18 years. Harris right away calls Dawn and screams, "You and I have the same dad, don't we?" After this realization, the neighbors, who were actually sisters, talked over the call for the entire night. They had a lot to share and tell each other. Well, they shared some laughs, they even cried for the whole night, thinking that they were physically so close to each other, but never knew about their existence. Dawn the very next morning only returns from her vacation and immediately knocks on Harris's door. She got her sister flowers and carried with her some old pictures of their dad. As Hillary received Dawn, the woman greets, "Hey, sister." Since the women are tied with the relationship of being sisters and are inseparable. The sisters are very happy to see that they've surprisingly ended up living merely 20 feet apart from each other, after living alone for almost a decade. Dawn's glad that she's not a sister but an aunt as well. Dawn loves Harris's 5-year-old daughter as much as her own kids. Hillary was overwhelmed to meet her long-lost sister, the family she always wanted to know about, the people to whom she was born. Hillary had all the answers now. She even says that Dawn completes her. She's not only her elder sister, but is more like a mother to her. Harris and Dawn inspire all the other people by sharing their story. The sisters today are living happily with their family and hang out together. They go for picnics and family vacations as well. They both laughingly tell other children who are in search of their biological family that, "Go and look next door. One never knows what surprises lie there." At the end, we want to know your opinion about the story in the comments box below.